I built a Shopify app to import eBay listings to a Shopify store that I'm helping to run. Disclaimer, won't be showing any code, I forgot to record myself, so I'll be explaining how it went. First thing to be done was to get the environment ready. The prerequisite was to create a developer account and create a test store to test the app on. Then to set the app up, Shopify has a CLI tool that provides templates which takes care of the OAuth process and merchant session handling of the application. Using the CLI, I created the app with a Node template and updated the existing SQLite backed session to use MySQL instead, which was the database of choice for my infrastructure. Once I had the environment ready, I created a requirement stock on what specific features I'd like the app to have. I needed the app to do 3 things: connect to a user's eBay account, fetch users' active listings, import said listings to Shopify. Based on the features, I also had an idea of what the app should look like: 3 pages, a homepage describing the app, a page to connect to eBay, and a page to import eBay listings. So feature number 1, I'm connecting to eBay. The way this would work is a user clicks connect to start the OAuth flow, which opens up the eBay portal for a user to log in to their eBay account. Once the authentication is complete, eBay responds with the access token, refresh token, and how long the token is valid for. This is where I faced a major issue. The redirect URL goes back to my app, but the way Shopify apps built with the CLI work is that it inserts into the merchant's Shopify store using iframes, making it difficult to verify the user against the individual who completed the OAuth flow. The solution I came up with was to temporarily store the IP address and verify the user by checking if the IP address matches against the IP address of the request from eBay, and then delete the IP once the OAuth is complete. The access token is stored in Redis and the refresh token is stored in the database. So a question you might have is, why Redis instead of storing the access token as session? Initially I had the app do that, but for some odd reason which I couldn't figure out, which I still can't figure out, the application would lose the session data whenever a refresh took place. So I abandoned the idea and instead would request a new access token with a refresh token whenever the user needed to make a request to eBay's API. Obviously that was a bad design decision, and I found that Redis would resolve this issue. After resolving that issue, I worked on feature number 2, which was fetching the active listings. This was easier to complete, so when a user clicks fetch all products, it would get all their active listings from their eBay account. When an import is complete, the application stores the imported item IDs and Shopify product IDs, which can then be used to filter out whether an item has been imported or not. And this is an image of how it would look like, or how it looks like right now. After that was done, feature number 3 was implemented, import listings. Not surprising at all, this was the feature I spent the longest time on. So to explain how it works, fetch all users' active listings using the API endpoint. Users can select their item listings, send an array of eBay product IDs to the server, make requests to eBay API endpoint for each listing, temporarily store product information, create the product in Shopify with the information, store Shopify and correlating eBay ID in the database, repeat step 4, 5, 6, and 7 for each ID in the array. So I faced some issues when I tried making this work. The way this works is pretty straightforward based on the steps, but I came across issues when submitting large payloads from the clients to the server, which would respond with a 504 gateway timeout. It made sense because I was expecting the data to be processed and all the steps to be completed before sending a response, which I guess was too much work to be done in a short period of time. So I had to find a way for the app to handle the actions in the background and be listening for a response for when it's complete. Hopped on Google to find an answer and came across a Stack Overflow comment recommending BullMQ, a Redis-based messaging queue. Now it would work the same way. Let's say the client imports 20 listings to the server. The server would add the data to a queue for BullMQ and send a response to say that the importing action was successful. In the background, BullMQ will be processing the data based on the steps laid out. In the meantime, the front end would periodically check in with the server to see if the import is complete. Once completed, the server will respond with a HTTP 200 status code signifying it was a success. With all the features complete and after cleaning my code up a bit, I spent a couple minutes making the icon on Affinity. I submitted the app and now it's on Shopify's App Store.